Gallego.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Mr. Turner, it was great meeting you in your office. As you know, Arizona is at the forefront of housing scarcity on all fronts, whether it's apartments, whether it's housing, whether it's new, old, and it's not just the metro area, it's even our rural areas. So, I'm always looking out for the comprehensive solution, as well, of course, dealing with the rising homelessness, which are all kind of attached to this. So we talked about a couple of areas in my office, and just want to reiterate, especially for our, number one, our families right now that can't afford housing. Last year, introduced the Housing Vouchers Fairness Act to address the increased demand for affordable housing choice vouchers in our fastest growing cities. And for my colleagues here, what that basically means is there are some areas of this country that are not using their housing vouchers, largely because of either bad administrative process or the fact that just you guys are losing population. Places like Arizona, Nevada, Texas, and Florida have a demand for these housing vouchers. And, as I said before, it's the HUD. HUD has the right to actually reallocate those vouchers if they're not being used. So just want to have a commitment that you're going to look at that because that would actually help put a lot of people off the streets and into housing. And especially, again, if they're not being used by anywhere else, they should be effectively used somewhere.
Yes, sir, Senator. And it was great to visit with you and hear your care and your passion for your state and constituents. And yes, I do commit to working with you and looking further into that, as we said in our meeting.
Thank you. And so, one of the things that we see in Arizona all over the country is that we have a lot of families in different situations, but we do see mixed status families. And I agree with a lot of my colleagues here. If you are an illegal immigrant, you shouldn't be receiving any subsidized housing. If you're two illegal immigrants living together, you should not receive any federal subsidized housing. But I am concerned about mixed status family, and that happens a lot in our world, where you have one parent who is an American and who is legally here or has a child that's an American. In the past, under HUD Secretary Carson, there's been some rulemaking that would have potentially put those types of families on the streets. And when we already have a housing shortage that we're hearing, and the other thing to remember in terms of these mixed status families, a lot of times that parent, the secondary parent, may actually at one point become a legal citizen. I'd like to make sure that you at least understand and do not rush to kick more people out of their homes, because you're likely kicking out a couple Americans in the process. And again, overall agree with the sentiment. We should not be using our federal dollars or in general tax dollars to house illegal immigrants. But when it comes to our potential of making some of our American families homeless, we have to be very careful about how we execute that. And want to make sure you understand that and work through that in the process also.
Thank you, Senator.
And then so when it comes to that, if you understand the mixed status family situation, American kid, American parent, undocumented, would you say that that's something that would be a reason to evict these families from federal housing?
Well, Senator, one thing, if confirmed by this committee, as the Secretary of HUD, we have to take care of American citizens and American families. It's not only the right thing to do, it's not just what we're called to do, but it's the law. Even right now, we are not serving the amount of American people, American families that we've been called to serve. And so as a HUD Secretary, if confirmed by you in this committee, my job will be to uphold the laws on the books. And I know oftentimes we have to make hard decisions because we do not like to tear up families, but we have an obligation to serve the American people and uphold the laws on the books.
Right. And recognize that these are American people. They're just in a situation where they're married to someone who is undocumented. And so this is why I'm asking specifically to make sure that you understand that there is a nuance, and all we're going to do is create more Americans, actually, that are going to be homeless if we rush to just evictions. Other areas that I definitely would like to talk to about is in regards to the Native American housing block grants. The president and his previous administration had had tried to demand some cuts to that, and he provides grants to tribes and tribally designated housing entities to support housing and community developments. And so Arizona's got 22 federally recognized tribes. It is a massive portion of our population, but they actually have a housing crisis. So whenever there is cuts that are made or proposed cuts that are made, it is going to significantly impact these communities, because a lot of these communities also don't have access to other private funds in order for them to build up their housing. So I really want to know, do you support the president's proposals to cut funding for HUD assisted housing for Native Americans going forward. In the past, we can't really do much going there.
You know, I have to look to that program and that proposal. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. As we talked about before, you know, Native American tribes have the same difficulty in affordable housing because of the tribal trust and other factors. As we talked before, also opportunity zones are a great vehicle to build affordable housing, including on our tribes. And so I am committed to seeing how we can continue to build more affordable housing for our tribes and across the country. And I look forward to working with you on that particular issue. And as far as the proposal, I have to go and take a deeper dive into that.
I go back.
Thank you.